time, a Welcome to Ukraine profile. On today's program, we have Michael Kostiuk to discuss mapping with drones. But first, we have some very important updates from the Ottawa Gatineau branch of the Ukrainian National Foundation with Joanne Dero. Dero, okay. Joanne, thank you for coming to the program. What's the origin of the Ukrainian National Foundation?
The UNF was founded in 1932 in Alberta, Edmonton, I think, and the goal was to unify and preserve Ukrainian identity and culture.
Now, when was the branch set up here in Ottawa?
I know that at the beginning of the 1900s it started, and then there was sort of a break, and in 2010 it was revived again.
Oh, that's fantastic. I probably know. I think that was mentioned once. We had Vicky Karpiak on. She was very active in the UNF. What type of activities does the branch do to support the local community here in Ottawa?
Well, we offer educational, cultural, and recreational activities. For example, we have speakers, presentations, book signings, films, and also craft workshops. But another important thing that we're offering is a mentorship program for newcomers to Canada, and it helps them sort of settle in and find ways to fit into the community and find work and things like that.
I think you do a lot of your work at Cafe Ukraine on Carling.
Cafe Ukraine and the Ukrainian Credit Union also, we have a lot of meetings there.
Oh, that's a wonderful spot in the basement there.
Yeah.
I guess there's going to be a very important film presentation coming up. I believe it's going to be on February the 8th.
Yes, on February 8th at 1 o'clock at Saw Gallery on Nicholas Street, we're going to be screening a film called Doors of War as part of a commemoration to the beginning of the war in 2022.
What cultural events are going to be playing into the presentation?
Well, we're going to screen the film, and then after the film we're going to have a question and answer period with the artist, Ruslan Kurt, and also the directors, Anik Shidi McClellan and Taras Lesyuk.
Now, what's the premise of the film?
Well, the film has several layers to it. In general, it's about what's happening in Ukraine, the war in Ukraine, and how it's affecting people in the war zone. Mainly, it's the story of the artist, Ruslan, who collected damaged doors in the war zone and brought them to Canada, pardon me, in order to create an art piece, an art exhibition with these doors, an installation. That's the word I was looking for.
No, where's that installation located?
Right now, I don't know where it is, but the installation has been traveling. It did come to Ottawa, I think during COVID, and I think it travels around. But I wanted to also add that another part of the film, it's the story of his journey, but also of the people behind the doors, the people who lived behind those doors, and also the courage and strength and resilience of the Ukrainian people.
It's I had the opportunity to watch the trailer of it, and it's interesting. They show that people of sort of different backgrounds, not necessarily that all people are living in the countryside, but other people there. Now, are all the people there? I assume they're not actors. They're people who have suffered from the events.
That's right.
Themselves.
They're real people.
do you know what parts of Ukraine that it was filmed in?
Well, it's in the war zone, so the eastern part of
Eastern
Ukraine.
part, yeah.
But exactly what area, I couldn't tell you it right now.
Do you know when the filming took place?
Oh, that's a good question. No, I don't.
That's all right. I understand your AGM is coming up pretty soon.
Yes. We're having it on February 12th. I think that's a Thursday at 6:30 at the Ukrainian Credit Union.
Oh. Now, if someone wants to become a member, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, they can come to any of our events, and we have application forms at all our events, and they can just speak to someone on the executive or a member and ask them how to get an application. And also they can contact us on our website, or by email, sorry.
I noticed looking at the website, and of course I'm a member, you have some very important updates through email on different things going on in the community. What type of things do you think will be coming up in the next few months, as well as the AGM and the screening?
Well, one big thing that we're doing this year is we've sent out a call to local artists, Ukrainian artists and Canadian artists with a Ukrainian background, in order to form an artist cooperative.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, and it's to help sort of form a community and help them work together, support each other, and just have a sense of community with the artists.
And this will be here in the National Capital area?
Yes.
Do you know of any other branches that have done similar things?
No, I haven't heard of that in any other branches.
Okay. Now, could you give us the connection for the website?
Well, we don't really have a website, but we do have social media pages. So
That's
we're
what I
on
mean, yeah. Sorry.
we're on Facebook and we're on Instagram, and all people need to do is look for UNF Ottawa Gatineau branch.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss, since we have a few minutes?
Well, I'd like to encourage everyone. The film screening isn't only for the Ukrainian community. I'd like to encourage everyone to come, and it's an opportunity for the Ukrainian community, it's an opportunity for supporting each other and standing in solidarity with Ukraine and the people of Ukraine. And for other people in the community, non-Ukrainians, it's an opportunity for them to learn about what's happening in Ukraine.
No, I totally agree.
About the people and the culture. Mm-hmm. So I really encourage people to come. Yeah.
So thank you for coming on.
It was my pleasure.
You've been brilliant on this program. And definitely in the future, we'll like to have more updates on UNF.
Okay.
And if you'd like to come on just to discuss your poetry and art, we'd definitely like to have you back on for that.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
It was our pleasure.
Тут душа на місці, а так я поїду, в мене душа не на місці.
Ні мосту немає, ні церкви, нічого нема. Нема нічого.
What kind of humanity are we if we still continue to quarrel and have wars, and now we start to forget about it again?
How do we keep people engaged with their hearts? And not in a way that makes them despair or makes them feel like there's nothing they can do, but indeed quite the opposite.
The exhibit, it focuses specifically on doors from a very specific area. It has been more than a year since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, and since that day in February, more than 11 million Ukrainians have been forcibly displaced. One of those people was Ruslan Kurt, who's now based in Toronto, and he's a contemporary artist who translated the horrors he witnessed into an art exhibit called Doors.
Once it's in front of you and you are absorbing it and you are understanding it, you can't run away from it. It pulls you into the story and it makes you a part of that story.
What a door represents is the entry to one's home. It's a place where people feel safe, where some of our most important memories are made.
They are like silent witnesses to that war. They do not speak by themselves, but through the meaning of these doors, they cry loud.
Я не люблю слово «відродину», тому що відроджувати можна те, що вже знищено. Наша культура не знищена.
Never you should be afraid of saying something you feel, and I will not change that for be quiet and just accept the things which I don't like. It's not about the politics, it's about your choice, be on the dark or on the bright side.
Welcome back, and we have with us right now is Mr. Michael Kostiuk, who is doing a thesis on mapping with drones. Michael, thank you for coming.
Oh, thanks for inviting me.
What was your motivation to do your doctoral thesis on mapping with drones?
Yeah. Well, over the years, I've been looking for a place where I could do an online PhD. I graduated 25 years ago with a master's in geography and mapping the coastal zone, for using geographic information systems. And just a few years ago, with my real estate company, I wanted to learn more about drones for taking, real estate photography. So I realized I had to take a drone licensing course in order to fly heavier drones. And when I was taking the courses and then subsequent interacting with other people with drones and going to conferences, I realized that this is something that could really work really well in furthering my knowledge and expertise in the coastal zone. So.
Now, what is sort of the scope and structure of your thesis?
Well, essentially, I'm building on my master's degree from 25 years ago, so there's a big gap. My study area 25 years ago was the Kostiuk Bay area of Maine, and I was actually going to do my PhD in that area too, but it's a little more friendlier to be on the Canadian side of the border than it is on the American side now, so I told my thesis supervisor that I'm going to be modifying, and I'm going to be going on the New Brunswick side as opposed to the American side. I have a lot of knowledge of the area because I've been going there a lot, just checking up in the coastal zone. I do a lot of kayaking in that area, so I have an intimate knowledge actually of the coastline of tides and things like that. So I figured, Campobello Island, Dero Island, the mainland of that part of New Brunswick would be good. I've also extended it even into Ontario, where for example, I've done the Prescott Harbor, I've done the Windmill Lighthouse,
Now,
as well.
what university are you doing your PhD?
It's Selenis. It's a university in Italy,
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Could you give us an idea? You have all of these wonderful equipment here. Could you just go through your different drones?
Sure. So the small one here, this is a DJI Mini 3 Pro. What you see here, these are pontoons that allow it to take off and land in water. Now, I wish I had bought that, because this is my second DJI Mini 3 Pro. My first one, I was working with the Kitchissippi paddle that went from a part of city near Montreal, and they paddled up to Ottawa 2 years ago for Canada Day. I lost my drone because I flew it out too far, and when I brought it back, the battery died, and I lost my drone in the water. So I said, never again, I'm going to get some pontoons. But despite its size, it takes really good videos, really good photography. And I decided that once I decided to do my PhD, I needed something a bit larger that had longer range, and you could use more sophisticated mapping programs with it. So this here is called a DJI Matrice 4E. See, it's much larger. It has sensors all different areas. When you're flying it, you can navigate it by looking through this lens or any of the other camera lenses as well.
So how many camera lenses would that unit have?
Oh, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 8 altogether.
It's battery powered?
Purely battery powered. Very large batteries. They come off the back. You'll notice too that there are serial numbers on here. So when you get a drone and it's over 250 grams or more, it has to be registered with NAV Canada because it's actually a real aircraft, unmanned. But so what I do for my coastline work, I have this large controller here. It's like a bit like a notebook computer, and I can load up a map here, and then I can actually design a route around a bay, around anywhere I want or any particular object, and then when it's set, it then uploads the information to the drone. The drone then can fly autonomously, and return to its point. And for example, like this is like this little landing pad. It'll take off and land it precisely on it without any intervention. Wow. Mind you do have to watch it because you are required to keep an eye with what the drone is doing.
Michael, what kind of range would that model have?
It's line of sight. So that means if you were in a hilly area, the hills would block the signal, so it would be limited to the terrain of that area. But when you're down on the coastline, like I was often, there's a limitation to it. You're not supposed to fly your drone out of your own eyesight as well. So you have to keep it away. Depends on your eyeballs too, But you can fly this thing 30 kilometers away.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Michael, what's the pole, for lack of a better word?
The survey pole, yeah. The standard survey pole. And on top of it is a GNS device. And this actually was made by a company called Trimble. And there's no battery here, but normally plugs into a battery. There's an app that goes on the phone or a tablet. And with that, once you have to subscribe to a service, and then you basically put it on top of something called an air target, like that. And this thing will measure to 1 centimeter of accuracy horizontally and 2 centimeters vertically. So what that does is I'm wanting to verify the accuracy of the drone itself too. Right. The drone supposedly has 3 centimeters of accuracy, and it uses something called RTK, real-time kinematics. Really sophisticated surveying stuff is out there. So, but I'm using the two to kind of verify each other to see how accurate it is.
Now, how high would that one fly?
You're limited to 400 feet. Those are the aviation regulations in Canada. So you can't fly any higher than 400. Aircraft, by their rules, can't fly below 500. Yeah. So there's a 100-foot safety margin. You notice I'm saying feet, because aviation regulations are still in feet. They're not metric yet. So, yeah.
Now, you mentioned that you've been mapping both in Maine and in New Brunswick. Are there any differences in the regulations between Canada and the States for this kind of work?
If you wanted to have a drone that's over 249 grams in the United States, you have to get a license as well. I cannot go to the United States and fly a drone that's over 249 grams unless I were to get an American drone license, which they allow Canadians to do, by the way. Yeah. So, yeah. And vice versa, they can't come up here without a Canadian drone license too. So
basically, you've been doing your work in Maine and in New Brunswick?
That's right, yeah.
And for how long?
Well, it goes back about 25 years, actually, if you include my master's degree back in the year 2000. Right. So, yeah.
What additional work do you feel you need to do before you feel the thesis will be complete?
I'd like to go back again to some parts of Campobello Island, Deer Island, and just verify that when I made my measurements for the longitude and latitude with this, that it actually was done correctly, because I'm relatively new to this, and I don't know if I 100% trust myself, so I want to verify myself.
Now, you mentioned Campobello Island. That's, I think that was the summer home for the Roosevelts.
That's right, yeah. One of the things I noticed there too in that area, which I did not notice, interestingly enough, in 2000, is the high degree of coastal erosion that's going on right now.
That's interesting.
And that's going to be added to my thesis because people are losing their properties because of the high tides and the storm action. It's a big problem.
So when do you think you might have your thesis finalized?
I should finalize it probably by August, and then I'll do some revisions, and I even want to get somebody to proofread it to make sure that my grammar is good.
Now, you mentioned you're starting to look at this for 25 years ago.
Yeah.
How has the drone technology advanced in that period?
Leaps and bounds, and of course, unfortunately, we know because of the war in Ukraine, it's been weaponized. You know, we know what's happened over there. But from the civilian point of view, you know, they use drones like this. For example, they have ones that are larger, and they fly over fields and they do crop dusting now, and they do spraying. You know, and other drones can actually fly over a farmer's field and use spectral analysis and see when it's time to harvest tomatoes, for example. I talked to a farming couple, and they said that's what they use their drones for. Other drones can actually go up and chip off paint off a water tower. Another drone can go and repaint it. You know, it's amazing, what you can do. Yeah.
Are there any other applications that you can mention as well?
Well, people are currently using drones to map the thermal reflectance on buildings. So particularly in the wintertime, you can fly near a drone building, and then you can see where all the heat loss is. Same thing in the summertime, when there's any areas of water leakage, a drone using a thermal camera can see where the water is leaking into a building. So those are two applications that are very useful. You know?
I noticed, I watch a lot of archaeology programs. They have drones which can go over a forested area and penetrate down to find the ruins of old civilizations.
Mm-hmm.
How does that, do you have any idea how that works?
They're using LiDAR for that. It's a special optical sort of system. And the neat thing about DJI drones, for example, they actually sell a LiDAR sort of module. You see actually little holes here? You can actually put things on there, and hopefully not lose your battery when the drone's flying away. Yeah. So the LiDAR actually has really revolutionized archaeological mapping, because before all you saw was a tree cover. Now the LiDAR goes underneath the tree cover and discovering all these things, like you mentioned, in the Amazon basin, all these ancient cities. You know. So.
Now, have you done any work here in Ottawa with the drones?
Yeah, I have. Like I was mentioning, I was helping out the Kostiuk Trails group. I'm helping a group to map trails that Aboriginal trails go in the Ottawa area. Interestingly enough, some of the trails go very close to a lot of our Ukrainian sites. For example, St. John's Catholic Church, the Orthodox Church on Byron, and even the community center on Carling Bayswater. They're all on Aboriginal trails.
Wow.
Yeah, you know.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, once you get your doctorate completed, and you've done your defense, what do you think? Will you do anything else with drones after that?
Well, for example, I mentioned the capabilities of the drone at a recent real estate conference here in Ottawa, and I told them what they can do for thermal measurement of heat loss and water damage and stuff like that. And they're actually very interested in working with me in that area. So,
like I say, do you think you'll have any kind of a commercial application that you'll be able to use?
Well, doing contract work in that area, and the fact too that I set up a drone company called Drone Zone Aerospace Inc. I've set myself such that when I'm ready to go as soon as I finish my thesis. So yeah,
that's good.
There's one other thing that drones can do as well. Drones can also. Transport Canada is looking at drones to do long-distance delivery to remote locations in Canada. You know, pilotless delivery. So that's something.
So those would be a much larger kind of a drone.
That's right. Yeah, and those basically would happen maybe from a place like Churchill or something like that, and then from there it would go to a remote location. You know. And so.
I can see a lot of applications that coming up now. Would you ever use anything a fiber optic drone with a long cord?
I don't see necessarily the use of it because the quality of the transmission, like this thing here, you know, for example, it's got two big antennas, and with line of sight, no, I don't. Okay. I don't think I would want to have a fiber optic cable kind of like dragging along. So. Yeah.
Michael, thank you very much. This has been a really interesting. All the best to you.
Okay.
And hopefully later on in the year, you'll come back as Dr. Kostiuk.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you for watching this program, and certainly it's interesting topics. Now, you wonder why at the end of the program I say, God save the King. Well, it's a very interesting fact that's been publicized since 1967 in the centennial. King Charles is a direct descendant of Volodymyr Monomakh, and through him, a direct descendant of Volodymyr Veliki. So he has a share of Ukrainian blood in him. And until next time, Slava Ukraina, Slava Canada. Stand with Ukraine, stand with Canada, and God save the King.